This is a 1960s building. It's been converted into a modern day building and it's time to go urban exploring. So let's take a look. And here's before and here is after. Which one do you prefer? Well, after looks very modern, especially the LEDs they've added to. But there's loads of modern buildings about. I personally prefer before. And let's take a look at a bit of the concrete I've taken out and just left on the floor. Look how big and heavy duty that is. That is so strong. That could survive anything. That is such a massive, over-engineered bit of concrete. They built this building so well in the 60s. The modern stuff they're putting on in the replacement of all the 60s stuff is just rubbish compared to this. This 60s building, outer walls, are so heavy duty and well built. Look how over-engineered this is. That is absolutely crazy. How they build it so over-spec. And there's absolutely no need for them to replace this. It actually looks in perfect condition. They just replaced it because they think it looks old. At least that is better than what they're doing in Croydon. Because in Croydon they're actually knocking down all of their 60s buildings and replacing them with new buildings. At least this building's less wasteful, as they're just removing all of the parts that look 60s and replacing them with modern parts, leaving the structure original. But I still prefer 60s building. So then, let's now go inside this building. This building is very interesting. The whole building is completely stripped out. It is now just an empty shell because they're completely renovating the building. But before we go upstairs, let's first go down to the basement. And the basements are car parks. There's 2 car park levels. The lower level is completely flooded because the water pumps have probably been switched off for a long time. So we walk around the upper car park level and we find some old cars. Look how old these cars are. They've just been left here. But everything in this building has been removed. These old cars are still here. And looking at a tax disc, these cars were lost on the road in 2011. They've just been left here. My guess is that someone brought these cars as an investment, not because they wanted to run the cars, but because they wanted to just preserve them and wait until the price goes up as the cars get even rarer than what they are already and then sell them. But as the cars have not been removed when the whole building's been cleared, I'm guessing the person that bought these cars as an investment has probably died and that's why the cars are left here. So I've never actually been in a car this old, and inside it actually looks very interesting. This is so crazy. These old cars are left here. They actually look very dusty. It'd be better if I had a cover over them to preserve them better. So then, let's now go up into the building. So we go up these 1960s stairs. The outer walls of the building are currently in the process of being taken out. And if we go up to this level, halfway up the building, we can take a look at the newer cladding they're putting in. This newer cladding actually looks really nice. They've done a good job on this, far better than most other modern day claddings they've put on. So this cladding are completely removing the 60s outer walls and putting on these new walls. And this is not like cladding are putting on top of they do in most buildings. And this is actually a complete removal of the 60s concrete, then putting in the new walls. And from here we can take a look in the centre quadrangle of this building. And this centre area they've made look very nice. They've converted it into a very modern looking garden area. There's some people about down there because there's a restaurant that's opened in the bottom of the building. But all of the upper floors in this building completely, utterly empty. It's just an empty shell. It's literally just a floor space because everything in this building has been completely removed. But what's that? There's a light on up here. And we go along to a door which leads to a stairway in this building. But the light is on. But if we go through to a staircase, what? It's completely furnished. No way. Everything else is stripped and just a shell and empty. How comes this staircase is still fully furnished? When you look at a staircase, you just think it's in a regular in use building. But it's not. This building's completely empty for renovation works. The rest of the building's like just a building site. How comes this one staircase is still looking like this? That is so weird. And there is a working lift. Let's get on top it. Then I didn't want to go inside this lift because the building's like completely empty and I didn't want to get stuck in it, but I still went inside it because John wanted to.
This lift is under service control, going down.
You can do a reverse check.
Second floor. This lift is under service control. Doors open.
So then we now got up onto the roof of this building. And it's very nice on this roof of this building, you can really get a nice look around up here. And the motor room for the working lift is sadly locked. So then we now go along to a ladder up to the roof section of the next part of the building, and on this roof section there are mobile masts, and the mobile communications room has a fan on, so the mobile masts are still active. So then we now go along this roof, and along we go to an old 1960s Otis motor room. Yes! Sadly, these 1960s Otis lifts have had their cables cut and have been crashed, so this is actually very, very similar to my private lifts. My private lifts were some epic 60s Otis, just like these, a set of 2 lifts, relay logic, very, very advanced at the time with a lift chooser system where when you press a button for a lift, it has to choose which lift to come, all using relay logic. And I had a lot of fun on my private lifts, and as it was abandoned, but the power was still on, and I had a lot of fun until the building owner came along and crashed them, just like these lifts. So these lifts really do remind me of my private lifts. They were just like this, epic 1960s Otis relay lifts, and relay logic looks so much better than modern day logic. Although there is one difference between these 60s Otis and my private lifts, because these ones, a couple of the relays are a bit different. And then I noticed the DC generator. These are DC lifts. I'm guessing these ones were 2 meters a second, because for a 2 meter a second lift I wouldn't been able to use AC back then, because on AC the rotating magnetic field would not have enough starting torque, so I'd have to use DC for faster lifts. This motion is very, very interesting, but it's such a shame that lifts have been crashed. So then we now go out of this motion and go down the stairs to take a look at these lifts. It turns out these lifts were partway through modernisation because a lot of the buttons had been replaced, but the logics had not been replaced. It's like it started modernisation, then modernisation was stopped while the building was being renovated. So then let's now go down the stairs down to where the lifts are. Oh, been a bit vandalised. No, there's no lift. Is the lift down the bottom? Or is there no? Is the lift down the bottom and crashed, or is there no lift here? Down to where the lifts are, crashed at the bottom of the shaft. Sadly, we weren't able to open the doors to take a look inside the lifts as the doors were jammed, but we managed to take a look on top. So here is on top the lifts. It's been crashed. It's been crashed. 100% crashed. That is not going to move. Oh. So it's halfway through then, because there's no way that lift could work with that bar at the shaft, a hole punch tape. There's no way that doesn't add up. And that's about it for this video. This building is very interesting, completely empty while it's being renovated. If you want to see more URBEXs like this, make sure you check out my playlists. Newcastle.